Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, where travelers are one stop away from world destinations. Connections on Delta Airlines to Atlanta are available daily. Close, convenient, CIRA. More at CIRA.com.
A wastewater modernization project aims to reduce flooding in Bloomington-Normal. That's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Tuesday, September 9th. I'm Lauren Warnicki, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with a new partnership in McLean County to safeguard water quality after heavy rainfall. WGLT student reporter Ben Howell reports.
The Bloomington-Normal Water Reclamation District, or BNWRD, and Illinois State University have formed a partnership to bring green infrastructure directly to residents of the Twin Cities. The process aims to protect against flooding and water pollution. BNWRD Director Tim Irvin says the project will use native vegetation to better soak up wastewater after rainfall.
Ranging from rain gardens to bioswales to natural grasses and trees to help soak up the stormwater runoff.
BNWRD acquired a vacant lot on Gridley Street in Bloomington for their new pilot project. Joan Brame is director of the Center for a Sustainable Water Future at ISU. Brame says the new vegetation will not look that different from a regular prairie field.
It'll be designed in a way that has more of a park-like setting so that it becomes an asset and amenity to the neighborhood that people can visit. We hope to include some signage to educate the public about what it is they're seeing.
Brame says a great example of what green infrastructure can look like is Normal's Uptown Circle.
It's a beautiful gathering spot. It's got flowing water. They use it for music events and all sorts of social gatherings.
Brame and Irvin are holding 2 focus groups at the Bloomington Public Library to facilitate community input on the project. If the pilot project works, BNWRD and ISU would like to spread the green infrastructure to other flood-prone areas in Bloomington-Normal. For the Leadoff, I'm Ben Howell.
Here are some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. Governor J.B. Pritzker has responded to the Trump administration's launch of Operation Midway Blitz. It's a campaign to target immigrants without legal status who have sought refuge in Illinois and Chicago. Police in Normal say they have made an arrest in the armed robbery of a Dollar General store on West Rab Road last Tuesday. 55-year-old Calvin Jones has been taken into custody. And Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul has announced an $8 million settlement with an alternative electric supplier. The Attorney General says Clearview Electric misled Illinois customers into paying millions of dollars for more electricity than those who stayed with their public utility. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. Steve Vogel made a career out of telling other people's stories. Now he's telling his. The former radio broadcaster at WJBC in Bloomington, newspaper columnist at the Panagraph, and speechwriter at State Farm has written a book. It's called Broadcast Live, 71 True Stories, including some I'd just as soon forget. Vogel tells WGLT's Eric Stock the book is not quite a memoir, autobiography, or even a tell-all. It's a tell-a-lot.
So I've collected lots of stories, opportunities to meet people, experience different things, and some interesting moments in our country's experience. Some of the stories are what I call celebrity adjacent. Some are just darn embarrassing, pretty personal.
As celebrity adjacent, the book highlights a couple of radio debates that you moderated that I wanted to get into. One between Betty Friedan from the National Organization of Women and Phyllis Schlafly, who led the conservative movement against the Equal Rights Amendment. 2 very powerful figures at the time. In your studio, it became pretty heated, became sort of a national story. What do you recall from that discussion?
Illinois was kind of the centerpiece of the whole pass the ERA debate at the time. Illinois needed to pass it if it was going to become part of the Constitution. And this was the first time that Schlafly and Friedan had ever met each other. And it was like when Schlafly was there, very prim and proper as always. Friedan was almost late for the radio debate. It was like when she came into the studio, the temperature dropped 5 or 10 degrees. It was almost a hair-pulling contest for a while. Newsweek magazine wrote about it. At one point, I think Friedan referred to her as an Aunt Tom, and maybe I got the two characters mixed up. I don't know, but at any rate, it was usually during a commercial break, political opponents will chat with each other about the weather or how you doing, that type of thing.
To help break the tension.
There was no word. There was no word between them. They sat there in solid silence.
A mutual distaste for each other? Is that how you would characterize that?
I would say so. And I talked to Phyllis quite a few years later. Betty had died by then. And this was just a couple of years before Phyllis died. And I asked her if she remembered that. And she said, oh, yes, I remember it. I said, why didn't you have any light conversation with her? And she said something like, I never talked to those women's liberals. They always wake up mad. And so she still knew how to stick it to her at that point.
And as someone who worked in journalism and journalism-adjacent careers for a better part of a half century, what do you make of the state of journalism in the U.S. now?
I worry about it. The whole ecosystem, the media ecosystem has changed dramatically. For the most part, local media doesn't have the resources to do a really good job anymore. There are exceptions to that. This radio station is a pretty good exception to that. But I worry that there are these news deserts are beginning to show up around the country. I worry how even major media outlets are being intimidated on a national level. And our democracy depends on people being informed. And there's the whole impact of social media and how that has changed things. Too many of us spend too much time just seeking out information that confirms what we think we know.
That was Steve Vogel, author of the book Broadcast Live, speaking with WGLT's Eric Stock. You can hear more of their conversation later today at 5 on Sound Ideas. Before we let you go, Rader Family Farms will cut the ribbon on a new corn maze. The 8-acre maze celebrates Country Financial's 100th year in business. And that's it for today. I'm Lauren Warnicki. The show was produced by Cheyenne Brown. You can subscribe to The Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.